Breaking news, everyone. We have breaking news. It turns out we have some breaking news, and guess what? I'm going to be the one to break it to you. Um, well, you know, as far as breaking news goes, it's hard to find any breaking news on cannabis these days. Maybe you can find some fake news about it. Who knows? So I go to Google and I put marijuana, medical marijuana news, and then I push the news button, and I'm confronted with all these local news organizations doing stories about medical marijuana in places where medical marijuana is legal now. And it's kind of funny. I need a little more light over here. It looks like, I don't know, who knows? Sorry about the lighting again. So we got all these articles over here. We got USA Today, fight for daughter turns into battle for medical marijuana. Well, that's pretty cool. I believe that one's the ones with the Crohn's disease. And then we have a NBC2. That's another local station. Most of these, the Cannabis and the places that I usually read from are always going to be in these lists. Oregon Live, a lot of local news from Oregon, Colorado, and other places that have legalized medical marijuana. The Albany Herald, the Cannabis, who you might remember from Colorado, had the guy to do the reporting about the medical marijuana program and the legal cannabis overall. Here's a Forbes article. States with medical marijuana laws have fewer traffic fatalities. Forbes has a couple of writers that from time to time I do read, and they do report about medical marijuana. Here we go, HuffPost. I don't know if you really call them mainstream media. I guess they are these days. Parents prescribe medical marijuana. What's this all about? So parents with medical marijuana are clashing with federal agencies, apparently. I don't know what this is all about, but it seems like the parents that are on Oxycontins and fentanyl and morphine, those are the ones that are clashing with their kids. They're not being very good parents when they're completely strung out on opiates. All right, anything else? Well, we're on like page 4 here. We're all the way out here. We got Yahoo News, Florida medical marijuana dispensary rules make getting pot difficult. Yeah, I told you, man, that program down there is crazy. We're USA Today, thousands of Nevada medical marijuana dispensary applications, blah, blah, blah. PBS, licensing medical marijuana stirs up trouble for states. Again, a bunch of locals. Wow, page 8. NBC7. We got Michigan Radio, Massachusetts Live, Fox News. Whoa, do tell. After states legalized medical marijuana, traffic deaths fell. Good job, Fox. For mainstream media lately, they've been okay. I mean, I used to persecute them. Well, we're getting in there. Here's another HuffPost. No fake news. Obama should require truthful data on what? Let's check this out. No fake news. No more fake news. Obama should require truthful data on medical marijuana. Okay, I agree there. And I guess, yep. I might have talked about this a little bit when I was doing the story about a petition to the DEA to clean up their propaganda a little bit. But anyway, if you search up here for fake news on this page, this is the only place you find it, is in the headlines. So it's getting to the point where some of these larger news organizations are just using these buzzwords, fake news, to generate more hits for stories that don't necessarily have anything to do with fake news. Israel, a modern medical marijuana pioneer, is eager to capitalize. There you go, New York Times, telling the truth as always. Well, Israel has been the leader of medical marijuana all out. Here's page 10. Still no CNN, still no... We had one Fox News, no MSNBC, no anybody. And that's kind of the way it is when I go searching for medical marijuana. Every time I do these stories, you never get anything from the mainstream media people. And then they call people like me fake news for giving you the reports. All right, so they said medical marijuana is not medicine. I guess the DEA said that, and so the FDA is like, well, we wouldn't know unless we did 10 years of trials. And all these people are talking about, oh, marijuana is not medicine, especially if you smoke it. And here we go. I mean, Michigan's had this medical marijuana program for 8 years before you could do something besides smoke it legally. As you can see, this here article says what it does change is the conversations that we have with people about their options, says Adam Devaney, clinical director at Chronic LLC. Now edible forms of marijuana are legal. It's really actually kind of exciting to be able to talk to people about a whole bunch of different options other than just smoke marijuana. So there you have it. Michigan's had 8 years of smoking marijuana only as medicine. So I don't know. And then we did look into CNN, and what we found was that the last time they did a report about anything that had to do with Dravet's was August 7th, 2013. And Sanjay Gupta did a couple of documentaries on CNN. You might remember right around the same time, and he did one and then another one the following year. Not very good reporting, guys. This should be, and here's what I'm saying is breaking news, marijuana's medicine. You know how I know? Because I look at reports, I look at studies, and I look at articles like this, and then I go one step into it deeper, and I find, more writing about it to see if I can find some more depth to the story or more details about how it started and whatnot. So, here you have a recent story about another case of Dravet's, this time in Florida, and this is the Miami Herald, like I said a minute ago. The only time you find these reports, it seems like, is on the local level because they have to report on it. This is happening in their town. They're watching marijuana cure people, heal people, have no seizures or a lot less seizures. Or just being able to stop seizures. Remember that? I did a video about that. If you haven't heard about it, there's video floating around out there where they stop seizures 20 seconds after they start with cannabis nasal spray. So that's what you do. And this was just last week. So CNN dropped the ball on this story, maybe. I don't know. I didn't look into it. I didn't see if they actually did a report on it, but I know if they did, it went right by me. Now, if you want to find the mainstream media, just put pot in your, put medical pot, put recreational pot. Just use the word pot. You'll find the mainstream media. So what I usually put when I search for something that I want to find as far as it being medicine, and I mean, this just Dravet's alone should have the whole country talking about how marijuana's medicine, cancel schedule, let's see what else it's good for, all right? And when I typed this in, I found something out that kind of got right by me, went right by my radar, because in the normal searches I did not see these stories, and this was almost a week ago already. So the National Academy of Sciences, marijuana is an effective medicine. January 12th, 2017, breaking news. Like I said, and it's funny because I called this clip breaking news before I even did this, and I was making slides for the screen captures, and when I did my good old classic standby search for medical marijuana peer-reviewed papers, this is what I got. And so what is this? Well, the National Academies Press printed this out for you. It's kind of like a summary of this report by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. Health and Medicine Division, Board on Population Health and Public Health Practice, Committee on Health Effects of Marijuana. That's a lot of words for, there's actually a committee on the health effects of marijuana that was put together just to make this report. And it's called an Evidence Review and Research Agenda. That's the name of the committee. And then the description, this is a cutoff description, so I don't even know if I want to read it. But basically saying how, the 25 states and DC have legalized cannabis for recreational, and then the 4 states legalized for recreational. The first one was medical. These landmark changes in policy have impacted cannabis use patterns and perceived levels of risk. Now, there's two different perceived levels of risk. There's the people that perceive that there's risks to cannabis, that it's dangerous somehow, or that it's as dangerous as other substances even, let's just say that. And then there's people like me that know that there is no risks to cannabis, especially as medicine. But recreationally speaking, prove it. What's the risk? I'm getting sick of you guys saying that without no risks being mentioned. But anyway, like I said, the description was cut off, and I didn't click the read the full description button, so I don't really know what the risks might have been. But I think what this description was getting to is, well, we put it to the test. Is it medicine or is it not? Now I'm going to do a more in-depth report about this thing as it comes out. But here's a couple of things we found in there by looking at a couple of different articles that people have written about it so far. And believe me, the writing about this is very limited. Maybe it's because this kind of just dropped a couple of days ago. People are still reviewing it. I just found out about it today because it was so buried in the headlines. So we'll see. But the National Academy of Science, Engineering, Medicine released a comprehensive report today acknowledging that conclusive or substantial evidence exists for cannabis efficacy in patients suffering from chronic pain, and sharply criticized long-standing federal regulatory barriers to marijuana research, in particular the classification of cannabis as a Schedule I substance under federal law. Authors of the report also address various aspects of marijuana's effect on health and safety, acknowledging that the substance may pose certain potential risks for adolescents, pregnant women, and for those who may be driving shortly after they ingested cannabis. Like right when you put the dab pipe down, you shouldn't drive for about 20 seconds. In each of these cases, these risks may be mitigated via marijuana regulation and the imposition of an age restrictions in the marketplace. So there you have it. When you're talking about medical, or when you're talking about marijuana risks in general, they're talking about age restrictions being part of this regulatory framework in the marketplace. Because currently, if you don't have regulatory framework in the marketplace, and basically, sales are in the black market for the most part, which all these states that are decriminalizing marijuana at the last minute, guess what, guys? That's all fun and stuff, but we know what it is. That's a giveaway to the black market and the corruption in the police. So just saying, like Governor Cuomo was quoted as saying, marijuana, sales of marijuana is just, no, it should never be allowed. But we should decriminalize possession. How are they supposed to get the marijuana, man? And yeah, it's the black market, of course. So they're saying that you can mitigate the risks of marijuana by legalizing it. Boy, oh boy. I've been saying this my whole life. The most dangerous thing about marijuana is getting caught with it. Commenting on the report, Normal Deputy Director Paul Armentano said, the National Academy of Sciences conclusions that marijuana possesses established therapeutic utility for certain patients and that it possesses an acceptable safety profile when compared to those of other medications or recreational intoxicants are not surprising. This evidence has been available for some time, yet for decades marijuana policy in this country has largely been driven by rhetoric and emotion, not science and evidence. A search on PubMed, the repository for all peer-reviewed scientific papers, using the term marijuana yields over 24,000 scientific papers referring to the plant or its biologically active constituents, a far greater body of literature than exists for commonly consumed conventional drugs like Tylenol, ibuprofen, or hydrocodone. Furthermore, unlike modern pharmaceuticals, cannabis possesses an extensive history of human use dating back thousands of years, thus providing society with ample empirical evidence as to its relative safety and efficacy. Matter of fact, let's just amplify that and say there's never been anybody that had any overdose problems like death. No one's ever died from using cannabis. So isn't that just a testament to the safety of it right there? I'm so sick of these pundits and all these other people talking about, oh, but is it safe? It isn't safe. It's not safe. It's dangerous. No, it ain't. Come on, man. You can take the most concentrated form of cannabis and eat a handful of it. You're not going to die. You might not even get sick. You might not even fall asleep. The report makes this the first time since 1999 that the National Academy of Sciences has addressed issues surrounding marijuana and health. Authors reviewed over 10,000 scientific abstracts in their preparation of this new report. Wow, that's a lot of extracts, if you know what I mean. But those were abstracts. So there you go. Breaking news, but you already knew it. Cannabis is medicine. Hemp is medicine. Hemp is food. Hemp is fuel. Hemp is everything that plastic wishes it could be, except for plastic is the death of the planet. Meanwhile, you could make the same shit out of hemp, like plastic, like anything that looks like plastic, you can make it out of hemp, and it's biodegradable, and it probably has other properties that make it environmental friendly. Anyway, I'm just babbling at this point. So we see this report, we see everything else, and it's just yeah, you can order yourself a copy of this report if you want. In fact, if you wanted to order a copy of this report, it's going to run you about $80. So it's a pretty serious report, I guess. I don't know. This says download free PDF right here. Maybe you can do that too. But anyway, when you think about that one more time, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. This is basically the government, our government, who says marijuana is a Schedule 1 drug. This is them saying that they're not government. They're just them. They're just an agency that basically has a loud voice that is talking to the people that make the laws or even the FDA, and they're saying, "Hey, you can't be serious, right?" And if it wasn't them, it would be the FDA. Who else is going to say this on top of how high of a mountain before this scheduling, this Controlled Substance Act treatment of marijuana has ended? When? When will it happen?